Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I felt like I needed to do an episode where I guess, internet trolls, y'all gotta come up with, new things to say. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, bruh, I've heard this already. It's just, to me, it's funny how, a conversation on the internet is always different. One day you'll get into it with a person about politics. Next day you're getting into it with a person about, movies or actors or something, which is the better. But it's just, to me, it's funny how it gets to a point where it's like y'all are arguing about one thing. Then it gets to a point where it's like the person wants to insult you. And then it gets to a point where it's like now they're doing research on you. That's one thing that I've always have gone through when I'm just getting into it with people is that we'll get to arguing about whatever it is. Just recently, this guy, we got into it over WWE. I had tweeted out to WWE and I was all like, why not just have wrestle the pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever they what they call them and stuff. Why not just have it where this stuff comes out on Netflix for the US citizens too? But instead it's like you're having it where we're paying extra money for ESPN and then Netflix, and it's like I ain't trying to do all that. It just been easier to me where it's like because it's okay, sit down and think about it like this. If you know that there's a car, you got two cars, there's one car that you don't drive as much, and then there's a car that you drive all the time. Why would you put stuff that you need, I guess, to take with you in the car that you don't drive as much versus just having it in the car that you do drive around a lot? Let's say, yeah, you have your workout equipment in the car that you don't drive around a lot, but you have a Honda Civic or a Toyota or something that it's that's your everyday car. Why not? And you take your everyday car to the gym. Why not just have it where your gym bag is in the Toyota? But it's no, instead you're keeping it in the Koenigsegg that you got. That just seemed like that would be a odd. Well, I guess somebody that's they're like, nah, I ain't trying to take no Koenigsegg to the gym. I ain't trying to get robbed and stuff. But do you see my point though? Why not just have it where it's instead of you guys going back and forth, having it, or fans having it where the fans are going back and forth, just have it where we're on one platform. Because I'm not trying to have it where it's okay, I'm watching NXT on the CW, Monday Night Raw on Netflix, all the pay-per-views on whatchamacallit, the ESPN Plus or whatever it's called, and then the NXT pay-per-views on because I think they did say the NXT pay-per-views are still gonna be on Peacock. But it's do you see all those different platforms versus hey, we're making a move to Netflix, all the pay-per-views, NXT, SmackDown, all that stuff. I wouldn't have had no issues with that. But it's you're having it where it's now I gotta be subscribed to another platform, and I'm not trying to do all of that. But so anyways, I wrote that underneath, and then some random guy, he felt that his 2 cents were required, and I'm like, it's not. Nobody didn't ask you anything. And I kept asking him that. I'm like, who asked you? I'm not talking to you. He's trying to explain. He's all like, ESPN paid them $1.6 billion over the next 5 years. And I'm like, okay, and Netflix could have probably doubled that, if not paid them, or paid them $2 billion, if not more. And he started saying some other random stuff. And I'm like, okay, or no. So because he got on me about the question. And I'm like, okay, if we're technically speaking, nobody wasn't talking to you. So it's why are you responding to me and stuff? But yeah, he's just one of those individuals on Twitter where it's he ain't got no friends IRL or on social media, so he's okay, well, let me just keep my notifications open and going up. He thinks he's popular or something. He all if I go out and about and people see me on my phone, I'm doing something. No, you're not doing anything productive. You're not, bro. You're arguing with people on Twitter. That's how your Monday night is going. There's people preparing for work. There's people preparing for careers. There's people probably getting ready to start their jobs and careers the next day and stuff. You're spending your night arguing with people on Twitter. That's what you got going on. But no, it was funny though, because it got to a point where it was okay, you're clearly, misreading what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to him. So I'm okay, let me ask you again. Technically speaking, who was talking to you? Nobody. So you responded to my tweet for no reason. He's like, oh, well, if you leave it in the form of a question, then I gotta answer it. No, you got OCD. That's what you have. But again, nobody was talking to you. So it's like, fam, you feel like, oh, I gotta respond. That's probably one of the worst things that you can do is have OCD. And then also, because it's like, as soon as you do something, it's like, okay, well, I gotta do it to a bunch of, that could be the case, or this guy is just weird. I don't know what his case, or yeah, he's a troll. He's an internet troll. Because I'm like, to me, it just doesn't even make any sense why you're responding to somebody. I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of. I honestly had struck a nerve with him because it started making sense. So he goes on and he's all like, oh, he's like, well, your Twitch, YouTube, and everything else you got going on, that ain't doing so well. And I'm like, and what do you got going for yourself? You're unemployed, sitting on Twitter arguing with people. That's your life right now. At least I got something going on with my life. At least I can. My thing is this. I can, on my salary, I can afford a wrestling ticket to any show that I want to go to. What can you afford with your salary? It's like, yeah, you're at home, probably watching it illegally off of one of them streaming services that's going to get shut down in the next year or two. So it's like, to me, it's things like that, though, where I'm like, but why even go after my content creating career? Like, I feel like that's like that because there was a time before where somebody had did that. We were getting into it, but it's funny, though, how, like, it just seems like that's a go-to thing with, like, internet trolls where they can't have an intellectual conversation with you, so they just want to, like, and the thing is this, because the intellectual part that starts kicking in when you ask them that hard-hitting question. They can't answer that hard-hitting question, so it's like they get upset because they can't answer this hard-hitting question. Then they want to insult you, and that's the funny thing about it, is that, like, I can't insult these people because they're nobodies. Nobody doesn't know who they are. This is my first thing. This is gonna be my first and last time ever having an interaction with you. So it's like, and you made it into a situation where it's like, fam, if I really wanted to mess with this guy, I could. I mean, the conversation is still going on and stuff, but yeah, it's like, it's a waste of time. I'm like, my thing is this. I already got you upset, so that's all that I needed. You got to a point where you're like, oh, I gotta insult this guy's content creating career. Why are you even, the funny thing is, because I didn't even mention anything with my content creating career, because I know people are probably like, what, did you talk about it? Like, did you say something about YouTube or what? No. No, the thing is this. He opened up my profile. He started looking around. He's like, oh, I want to find things that I can talk about. My thing is this. I could have posted a picture of, like, me in the hospital saying that, oh, look, guys, here's my son. I ain't got no kids, but I'm just saying, as an example, I could have posted that. He was like, oh, your kid got a big head or something. I'm like, yes, everybody in my family got big heads. That's just how, that's how we are. Like, what is it that you're trying to get at? You're telling me something that I'm already aware of. So, like, like, at the end of the day, it's like, what do you think you're going to do or change by telling me something that I already know? Again, a hard-hitting question. That's one way of, like, handling trolls. You gotta ask them hard-hitting questions. Then when they start insulting you, that's when they start saying things where it's like, most people should get mad about what they're saying, but no, you just gotta look at it and laugh. Because it's like, fam, the thing is this. There's things that you can insult me on, because I actually got something going for myself. But the funny thing is like, let's just say it was something where he couldn't insult me on. Let's just say I was just one of those people on the internet where I just was on there just to be on there. It's like, I ain't got nothing, to my name. Like, nobody doesn't know who I am. I'm not a content creator. And that's what I'm like, that's the funny thing about it, is that you sit down, you think about it, it's like he wouldn't be able to respond back, or I guess insult me. All he would just be able to do is just sit there, try to process that hard-hitting question, and then after that, because no, that's how it was at one point in time. Like, before I was a content creator, I'd get into arguments with people, but me, it's like I was dragging that stuff out. Then when it got to a point where I did ask them that hard-hitting, because I'm like, this has gone on long enough. I asked them that hard-hitting question, never hear a response from them again. But now it's like, now that I'm a content creator and people kind of know who I am and stuff, they're all like, oh, well, you don't get no views. Yeah, I'm like, check my social blade, bro. I'm like, check my social blade and check my channel. I'm like, I do get views. I do have a lot of subscribers. My streams, I'm like, yeah, that's probably the only thing that I ain't got going for myself right now, is that I have a low viewer count with streams. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, if you're trying to put me on the pedestal of Kai Cenat, Mr. Beast, and a bunch of other viral content creators, and it's like, yeah, then you're gonna be disappointed. I'm not Kai Cenat. I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not any of those guys. I am myself. I'm happy about being myself. I know people will probably be thinking like, oh, he's just trying to say that to make himself feel better. Fam, I wasn't even feeling a certain way in the beginning. So like, that's why I'm like, fam, if my thing is this, if I wanted to be Kai Cenat, then I would, I guess it would be one of those like weird situations where it's like, oh, hey guys, I'm Ty Burnett and something. I went out and got like a wig or some dreads, and I'm, got like a background set up like Kai. I'm not trying to do that though. It's a lot easier being myself. But guys like this, it's like, he's trying to be the center of attention. He's trying to have it where, people are like, I guess, not flaunting to him, but he overall just wants to be in communication with people. And I'm like, fam, okay, our conversation ends. It gets to a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done with this guy. I ain't got nothing else to say to him. If it gets to a point where he's just harassing my mentions, just keep tweeting me trying to I'm gonna block you. Then what do you got? You have, like, that's the thing. People like this individual, he don't have nothing. But even just with other people I ain't got into it with, where it's like they do things like that, where it's like they want to insult you. And it's like, where does the insults come from? Like, without insults, can you just have an intellectual conversation with somebody? Can you actually have a conversation where it's like information is being passed along? Or if it's a debate where it's like, okay, do you think you can debate somebody without insulting them? Do you think you can but it's like, it's whatever, and it's like, it's just one of those things, but it's like, just overall a normal conversation. No, you can't do that, because you don't put yourself out there to have conversations. The thing is this, face to face, the conversation on social media, it wouldn't go down like that. And that's how you gotta look at a lot of trolls too. It's like they have like, I guess, internet conversations. They're not having face to face conversations with you. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, whatever it is I say online, I would say that directly to your face. No problems about it. Yeah, at one point in time when I was a teenager, I would say a lot of different crazy things, stuff that I heard in movies. But as you get older, you realize, like, fam, I can't be saying stuff like this. I can't be doing stuff like this. As you get older, you realize it's like, fam, this is pointless, and so, yeah, a lot of the times, like, as when I was younger, oh yeah, I was living for the arguments, because I had, the thing is this, I had nothing going for myself, so yeah, my thing is this, if who I was back then, oh, I would have killed it in a day and age like this, where it's like, you're just sitting around and just arguing with people. Oh, fam, I would have had, I'm telling you, high school me, he would have loved this. He would have loved this this day and age of social media. But me now, me pushing 30, and overall, just, I ain't got that type of time in my life to be sitting around arguing with people. Yeah, bro, like, here and there, every blue moon, kind of like treating it like a holiday where it's just spread out throughout the year and stuff. Yeah, but every day, and that's what this guy is. Like, the funny thing is, you check this guy's socials, I guarantee and I promise you, or more so his Twitter account, I guarantee and I promise you, this guy, he tweets more than them support pages of, like, companies and stuff. Like, you'll have it where it's like, yeah, like the YouTube support, Best Buy support, stuff like that. You'll have it where he tweets out more than them. And them accounts be tweeting out like crazy. But the thing is this, though, where it's like, how... Or I guess, like, how can I answer this question? How is it that your life is that sad to where you find yourself on social media just arguing with people? Like, that's one of those things. And the funny thing is, they'll still try to respond to you with trolling comments. They'll still try to, but I'm like, no, genuinely ask that question. How do you find yourself in the middle of the night on Twitter arguing with people? Here it is, when you sit down, you think about people's life. You got people like myself following through with their careers and making the best out of it. Yeah, others may want to say different, but I'm like, fam, you don't know the facts. You're speaking from an outside, angry point of view, but you're not actually trying to do research and, doing some actual hard-looking information, trying to find some information and stuff. No, you're just only want to say things that's going to come out as insulting, but I'm like, is it facts, though? No, it's not. But anyways, you got people like myself where you're following through with your career choices and goals and all that stuff. You got people out there developing a video game, painting. You got people out there trying to build the next muscle car or the next fast car or whatever and stuff, but you got people doing that. You got people working on movies and TV shows, artists working on their next big album, or or their rookie album or whatever and things, rookie mixtape, whatever they got going on. Off the wall question. Does Taylor, hold on for a second. I wonder if Taylor Swift got any mixtapes. I'm like, wait a minute. Does Taylor Swift has mixtapes? I'm curious because I'm like, no Taylor official traditional sense. I feel like she should put out a mixtape. She should be the first like pop artist to put, because you don't really hear too many pop artists putting out mixtapes and stuff. See, that's where my brain is at. People like this guy, forgettable, but Taylor Swift putting out a mixtape, you think about stuff like that, because it's things like this. It's guys like this where it's like, or just, oh yeah, just people where it's like they want to sit and argue with you, and it's a pointless argument at that, when there's more funnier, entertaining, just things that like, it's, it overall, like it doesn't make sense, but it makes a lot more sense than sitting around arguing with somebody. Stuff like that, it's like, yeah, overall though, but like, yeah, what I was saying was like all the different people following their dreams and goals. What's this guy doing on Twitter, arguing with people? That's all that he got going on for himself. Then the day when Twitter shuts down, or it's like, Twitter ain't really active like that no more, then what has he got going on for himself? Then he is going to have to actually do something productive with his life. But anyways, yeah, you just got some people out there where it's like, man, y'all got to do better. Because there's just people, it's like, they be living for that trolling stuff. And I'm like, bro, it's okay. Like, come up with something different. Come up with something unique. I tell people that all the time. Like, just when I've dealt with Just the Robots fans and stuff, I deal with stuff like that. And I'm like, man, y'all are just broken records. Y'all, it's just that same thing, just repeating over and over again. I'm like, say something different. Do something different. Do something new. And it's like, then you got people that do want to do stuff like that. Then they end up saying something that's incriminating. And then it's like, now you got the FBI looking for you, because it's like you out here making terroristic threats and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, people, you gotta let that trolling stuff go. It gets to a point where it's like, nah, bruh, you better than this. All right, you a grown man out here trolling people on social media. That's where your life is at right now. That's sad. So, anyways, or even if you are a teenager, still, it's like either way, you can put yourself in any era of your life, whether you a kid, teenager, young adult, old adult, middle age, elderly. You should be doing something a little bit more productive than sitting around arguing with people on social media. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.